takers will be here, the volunteers will be here. This hall will be full of tables. It doesn't look like a masjid. It looks like a food store for the benefit of our community. So Islam is a community-orientated religion that always looks at everything in the interest of the community. As a Muslim, you are taught that you have to be responsible towards the rights of your neighbors. You don't cause them difficulty. Don't block their driveway. Don't make so much noise that it's going to disturb them. At home, kids are kids. They get up at Sehri time, and sometimes they'll be, pass me this and pass me that, and they'll be having their own thing. Hey, keep quiet. Don't make a noise. Why? We don't want to disturb the neighbors. Yet our neighbors are Muslim. On one side I've only got Muslim neighbors, the other side there's no neighbor. But why? Because we have to be considerate. It's imperative. So Islam always focusing on this. So one is our compulsory zakat that we have to give, just 2.5%. And that too, after all your bills have been paid for the month. Your car lease has been paid, your rent has been paid, your council tax, your electricity, your gas, your staff, your whatever liabilities you have. Then if you have, on 6th of May it was about £372 and 10 pence. That was a zakat nisab. If you had that much or more, then you had to pay zakat. The masail on zakat are very, very, very intricate. So it's always good to consult someone that's good in that, in calculating zakat, to make sure that we give at least the absolute minimum. Although we should always try to give more. I know of a businessman who I've mentioned before, and a lot of things I like to mention over and over because there's always lessons to be learned from others. This man, every day from his business's takings, he would take out 2.5%. When he's cashed up, he will count whatever the money he has, he will take 2.5% and he'll put it in his zakat pot. Is it necessary for him to do that? No, it isn't. Because he hasn't removed any liabilities from there whatsoever, which he's fully entitled to do. He hasn't held on to that money for a year, which he's fully entitled to do. But every day he would do that. And his business, subhanallah, Allah Ta'ala gave him so much of barakah. So much of barakah. That he would even pay his staff very, very well. A lot of people, they make a lot of money, but they don't pay their staff very well. They just hoard that money for themselves. Well, this brother, mashallah, he made sure he had a proper place for salah for all his employees in his workplace, male and female. So this is what our Islam is teaching us. At 2.5% only, after you've gone through all of that, then you will pay zakat. If you've got less than that, you've only got £370, you don't pay zakat. You can actually accept zakat. But we have to be careful. Because many a times we make that mistake and forget to count in important things of asset. One is you have a car, that is your business use, your personal use vehicle. You have a house, that's your personal use. But if you have a holiday home, or if you have a car that is parked away somewhere, under the covers because that's going to be your investment, then you have to pay zakat on that. And what again? 2.5% only. So, deen is very, very easy. Now, we get that zakat. What do we do with that zakat? Many a times we just write a check, bank transfer, give it to a charity and say, you deal with it. And we forget about it. Yet there are people around us, and recently we've been trying to distribute zakat as much as possible locally. When I say recently, since COVID started. Because many people, like you and me, within our communities of Leicester, within our community, we found, and when I say our community, the entire Muslim community especially have become zakat cases. People who had full-time jobs that were working, they even had money saved up for a rainy day, that money is finished. Last year it was around this time, Maulana, I've fallen under such hard times, never in my life have I not bought an Eid present for my children. this year I don't have money for food to put on the table for you. Any time Allah Ta'ala can turn your situation, Allah protect us. Just as easy as we may have got our wealth, Allah Ta'ala can just as easily take it away from us. May Allah protect our wealth, inshallah, and not put us in such a position that we have to beg or we have to ask. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Now, besides zakat, other forms of charity there are, which we normally call sadaqah. Yeah? But in sadaqah, categorized into two different things. One which is sadaqah, which is wajib. The other is sadaqah, which is nafil. Sadaqah wajiba, sadaqah nafila. Wajiba is that which is binding. You have to give it. Must be discharged. There's no ifs, oohs, ah, buts, nothing. The other one is the optional one. You want to give, you give. You don't give, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be questioned about it. Like any nafil. Now, who can we give sadaqah wajiba to? Sadaqah wajiba, if it's a compulsory sadaqah, who can you give it to? This will go to those people that will be recipients of zakat. Who are recipients of zakat? Poor Muslims. Poor Muslims. Yeah? That we have to give to. So they have to be poor, they have to be Muslim, and that is the condition on zakat. Is that the only compulsory sadaqah there is? Zakat. Is it the only compulsory one? What do you think? Well, if you get the answer wrong, I won't shout. I've got the energy. Really got the energy to talk to you people, mashallah. Mashallah. What else is there? Let's say I got an illness and I make dua, Ya Allah. Or a person has, let's say for example, they've been diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, or others, something severe. Ya Allah, please remove this illness from me. As soon as I get better, I'm going to give £5 in charity. Because that's what they can afford. Not because they value their life at £5. We must get the difference right. Person gets better. When they get better, now it has become wajib upon them to give that £5. While they were ill, they could have been ill for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They got better today, now it has become wajib. Yeah? And if they die tomorrow, that still has to be paid from their estate. But it wasn't wajib until then. It's like nafal salah. So if you're reading nafal salah, nafal is nafal, it's optional, completely optional. Allah will not question you if you don't perform your nafal salah. But the moment you say Allahu Akbar, takbir al-tahrima for that nafal salah, now it has become wajib upon you, compulsory upon you to complete that 2 rakats. Understand? So it wasn't till you said Allahu Akbar. The moment you said Allahu Akbar, now you have to. Similarly, so we have, as Brother Yas said, that Sadaqatul-Fitr is also compulsory. But we'll come back to that just now. Also, we have Udhiyah, another example. Qurbani, coming up in 2 months' time. That again is sadaqah wajiba on condition that you fulfill that criteria. You fulfill that criteria, then you have to do it. If you don't fulfill that criteria, you don't have to do it. So simple. Because Allah Ta'ala in His infinite wisdom knows, irrespective of which place you live in the world, according to zakat nisab, if you are above that, you are above the breadline, and if you're below that, you're below the breadline for discharging of the zakat. An important point comes about here with regards to fidya. Fidya is also sadaqah wajiba, but again, not for everyone. A person is lazy, has all the strength to fast, but is absolutely lazy. They don't keep the fast. Can they give fidya? Can I give £5 every single day because fidya amount is £5 per fast? Right? At the end of every month, at the end of the month of Ramadan, or even during the month of Ramadan, then I just give £150 as fidya and say, right, that's my money done for my fasting. Are we allowed? You can give it. You can give £5,000. It's not going to be accepted as fidya, because you have the energy and the strength to fast. If you don't keep the fast, for each fast, kafara. What is kafara? Keep 60 fasts. Keep 60 fasts. It's hard enough to keep 30, now you've got to keep 60 for every fast you miss. And that too, consecutively. Yeah. So if you miss the whole month, 30 times 60 is a hell of a lot of days. Yeah. You'll be fasting for years on end. May Allah Ta'ala make it easier and grant us the strength. Right. Now if a person didn't keep their fast, they became old. And this is a question that comes about many a times when an elderly person passes away. Or for that matter, most people who are conscious of this. When someone passes away, you know what, my dad passed away, my mother passed away, they were ill. Recently there was a sister that mentioned that my sister only missed so many salah while she was in her last bit of her illness just before she passed away. Never missed any salah. Subhanallah. Or may have missed but made all the qada. The only time they couldn't was because they were very ill in hospital, they couldn't do anything to perform salah, for whatever the reason was. So that needs to come out from the estate. Yeah? Before giving all the heirs, because once the heirs got money, bas khalas, but you ain't seeing that money again. No matter how much you love mom and dad. Unfortunately, we've seen this. I'm not saying everyone is like this, please don't get me wrong. Some people will give away their entire inheritance because they don't want their parents to suffer. And some people will take every single last penny they can. You know why? Because we are the heirs. Then all of a sudden, no, my beloved dad, my beloved mother, oh, I love you so much. I saw a very sad photo the other day. It's a cartoon. Picture of a child on one of these social media with a picture of them and their mother hugging and, lots of love hearts and all of that. But the bichari mother is right there sweeping up. Yeah? The mother is sweeping and that child is like, oh, I love my mother so much. You love your mother, then you have to show you love your mother. You love your father, you have to show you. Make that khidmat. While you have your parents, no matter how independent they are, try to do things for them. Not so that they feel inadequate, not so that they feel that, you know what, I can't do, but because you love them. Spend your wealth on them. Because anta wa maluka li abik, the sahabi comes, oh Rasul of Allah, my father, he thinks everything I bring in the house is his. I earn the money, I go out, I buy fruit, I bring it home, he eats it up. He doesn't even ask me. I buy meat, he just eats it. He doesn't even ask me for permission. Hatta ke, he says, I bring home a slave, he takes my slave away also. What did Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say? Yeah, your dad's a bad guy. Take it back from him, make him pay. No, he said, you and your wealth belong to your father. So your father can do whatever he wants with you and with your wealth. Yeah. Are you scared? You're scared what your dad might do. You won't do anything. Father's too soft. MashaAllah. But what he was trying to reiterate, that you and your wealth, everything, don't think because I'm more intelligent than my father. Some people have this, and we've seen this. So sad, so sad. People think that, I am a professional, qualified, university, degree, blah, blah, blah. My father, who was he? He just used to pack shelves in a supermarket. Who put you through university? Who motivated you? Who taught you? Who got you through all that education that you are what you are today? Your parents did it in most cases. So don't we owe it to them? They say for the rest of your life you can serve your mother, but for the time that you spent in her womb, how long? 9, maybe 10 months? Doc, what's the longest gestation period you've heard of? 42 weeks? Maybe somewhere there? What's that, 10 months? 9.5 months. For 9.5 months, for the rest of your life, you can slog for your mother, you will never repay her for that 9.5 months. Did she suffer for 9.5 months? Not really. Some women don't even have morning sickness, they don't have vomiting, and all the other signs, they don't have back pain. One woman in Africa, believe it or not, she went to the hospital, she said, a big sized woman. Yeah? She went to the hospital and she said, I'm suffering with some really bad stomach pains. You know what she came out with?